Right, so I thought it might be a good idea to make a sort of e-commerce theme video in regards to AliExpress, Alibaba kinds of stuff, and also known Alibaba people you can potentially use if you want to. So most people already know about AliExpress or Alibaba. So the idea is, in theory, if you buy a product from normally a Chinese supplier, you can in theory resell it into a Western country for a higher profit in most cases. For example, I just typed in dog. I'm not recommending these people. I'm just using an example. But if we're using this as an example, so according to that, for me to order this dog feeding bowl would be about 70 pence to 73 pence. So in theory, if we got this product, we could then resell it for say £3, £5 kinds of stuff, or potentially more, depending of course the cost of dog food, dog stuff, all the rest of it. So that's the sort of things you could in theory do. But one of the things you have to remember, which has been a big change since now and the past, in the past, a lot less people knew about AliExpress and Alibaba, meaning they might, in a lot of cases, have no idea it came from China or it came from AliExpress or Alibaba. I know AliExpress and Alibaba has non-Chinese people. For example, you got ones from Vietnam, you got ones from India, and other countries on it. That definitely does exist, but most people are aware of the site. So if you're ordering a product, for example, if you're selling a product for say £30, it doesn't really matter what it is, and people find out it only costs £5, people might get a bit annoyed, or $10, $7, whatever it may be. That's some of the things you'll have to wear if you're going to be doing AliExpress and Alibaba. People will be able to find out your price unless you custom made it, you changed the color, you got some unique way to do it. It'll be quite easy for them to tell in a lot of cases. So using AliExpress and Alibaba in that cases can be give you issues because people might say, "Oh, you've overcharged me. I can get it much cheaper myself." That is something you have to be aware of. Another problem you have in AliExpress and Alibaba, for why a lot of people stopped using it as much, was the slow delivery rate can give you issues because most people now, in regards to Amazon itself basically pioneered the whole, quick shipping of orders. For example, if I order something today, in theory, it'll be here tomorrow or 2 days at most. So you have a fast delivery service in place that most people are used to now. So people expecting people to wait, say, 2 weeks to 2 months in some cases, or even longer, I've heard of it, is highly unlikely. So if you were going to order sort of some things, it would make sense, if possible, you ordered it, say, to your house or to your office, so then you can do deliveries faster yourself. But if you're going to be doing that, then it obviously takes time, takes effort, it might put your costs up quite a bit. So it might not work for you in theory if you're going to go that route. You might have to buy a shipping container, rent a shipping container, or just simply use part of your house to do it. If you're doing that, then that can speed up the process. I mean, there's lots of ways you can do quick delivery, such as just do it through your post office. You can do things like that. It doesn't take particularly long to package something, so that's something you can do if you were going to use some sort of supplier from Alibaba or AliExpress. But that's what you can do if you're using that option. Another problem you have, which can become quite an issue, is because a lot of the products on Alibaba are often not the best or not high quality. If something goes wrong, which it can quite often happen, do you have the time to be able to spend ages doing refunds? You may not have the time. Or you may not be able to pay someone to basically purely deal with refunds. So that itself can become quite an issue if you're dealing with AliExpress or Alibaba. Not always. You can definitely find great quality people or great quality suppliers in AliExpress and Alibaba, definitely. But there is quite a lot of businesses which can be, how do we say, a bit dodgy in some cases. Not all of them, but some are. So that's why you may find it a better idea in some cases to, for example, use a Western firm to get the stuff from and resell their stuff, or do your own sort of dealings with a company you know it's really high quality. It can be more simple because, for example, when I used to sell things on eBay, I found in general it was just more simple just dealing with Western suppliers. For example, when I used to sell pool cues and pool cue sort of stuff, I was mostly using a supplier called Powerglide. And Powerglide, all fairness to them, they were incredible. Great team, great firm to work with, good quality prices, good quality stuff. I had basically zero issues with regarding to dealing with them. They were always fantastic. I had zero complaints. People who bought pool cues or pool stuff from me, it was a great system. So you can do things like that. I mean, you could use someone in, say, America, someone in the UK or Germany or Western country or wherever country you're based in. You can quite easily find high quality makers of products or service in your country and you can still quite often find them cheap, even if they are, for example, versus manufactured in China or another country. If it's done by a Western firm who are basically checking the quality, checking it's safe, all the rest of it, that itself can make everything so much easier to do. For example, another thing I was doing as well a bit was I was basically selling chocolates, and when I was selling chocolates, I'd be selling things like Nutella, Hershey's, and a few other chocolate brands. But because I was getting them manufactured by a Western firm, I had no issues and no complaints, no refunds, nothing like that to deal with. Now, I'm sure if I was selling a lot more or doing it at a much bigger scale, people would obviously probably would want refunds for whatever reason, definitely. But if you're doing it to a smaller scale or medium scale, your refunds, if you're using Western firms, should generally be small as long as you're packaging it well, nothing's getting damaged, there's no issues. And if you have a Western supplier or wherever country you're based dealing with things, that means if there's any issues, someone says, "Oh, I've had this bad side effect with this thing," then you can basically contact them and say, "Hey, this guy's told me such and such thing. Can you please give me some help?" Then you'll get through to someone. That is a big advantage you have with a Western firm or a firm in your own country, because then you can work with that person to then find out whatever is meant to have gone wrong with the product you're selling. Because, for example, if you're, say, selling something which has come from China and something's gone wrong with the product, maybe it's gone on fire or something like that, it doesn't really matter what, but you're going to not really get much support. And you have to remember the laws in China compared to a Western country or most countries in the world are completely different. So if something goes wrong, you may not have much access to support in the extreme case something goes wrong. That's why, in general, if you're going to be doing an e-commerce site, I would strongly recommend you try and get suppliers or people who make products you want, either in your own Western country or in a Western country. It's just more simple to deal with things. Whether you're in Pulka, you use people like Powerglide or Riley's or other people or Predator from America. There's lots of different firms you can use to basically do things. And you can still make decent profit if you're sourcing people yourself. You can also do it different ways, depending, of course, how you want to do it. I mean, if we use United Kingdom example, if you're selling products like, for example, for say food, you can quite easily buy stock from, say, Booker's wholesaler, from Keystore, and a range of other people. Or sorry, Phil's Hill is actually a wholesale name of Keystore. So you can do things like that. You can deal with simply wholesalers you want to yourself. You could potentially, if you wanted to, if you knew a big firm was, say, operating in, say, for example, purposes, say, eBay, you could ask them, would it be possible if you could resell our stuff? So you can do things like that. You can also, as well, potentially contact a different company who makes high quality products, and then you could ask them if it's possible to sell our stuff, and then you can do it for your own site. So there's lots of ways you can do it to make sure your quality is good, make sure your orders are fast, make sure you don't deal with too much refunds, that kinds of stuff. And that's basically some of the simple things covered. So if you want to find suppliers, you can do it in, say, AliExpress or Alibaba, but you have to where delivery times itself can be quite a killer and can annoy people, because I did hear of people having to wait even 3 months for a thing coming. So I mean, if you order it today, I don't think it's really acceptable for somebody expecting to wait a month to 2 months, unless it's very unique or they just don't care waiting. If all your customers on they don't care about waiting, then hey ho, keep doing it. But most people generally expect a product in most cases to come within a week. I mean, if it's getting handmade, I mean, if you're, say, hand making products, then obviously it takes longer. But since you're not doing that, then most people would generally expect a product to come to their house or office within a week normally. I mean, even if I was just to use the cheapest post service, even as I post it right now, it would generally get to someone's house or office either tomorrow or at max. What are we? At max, probably say the 29th of March at max. So you can do quick orders as well, quite easy if you want to. And if you can get quicker orders, that itself can be used as a good way to increase your sales. For example, if people are waiting 2 months to get your product all the time, they're going to spend it might never review you or it might give you a negative review. But if you can get products getting sent from wherever you're based to their home or office, then it can be done much better if you can get quicker delivery service. And that's basically simplified terms. Find good quality suppliers is the best way to do it. You can find them this sort of site or other sites, or simply find people you know who make high quality products, whether it's high quality pool cues, computers, or anything else you want to sell. As long as you find good quality suppliers, that will generally make e-commerce work a lot easier for you as a whole. Anyway, that's all the video. Anyways, see ya. Bye.